Welcome everyone to a new episode of TCDD. I'm your host, Jennifer George, and with me today in the studio, I have a creative entrepreneur and an inspired storyteller. Here is a woman who weaves stories for women alike and tells the stories of people from various walks of life. With me today in the studio, I have Miss SonaalVChhibber. Hi Sonaal, how are you?
Hi Jennifer, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good. What do you think is probably one of the messages that you would want to give all educators in the world and in the UAE today?
So I think the job of the teacher is very tough. And the two things which stand out are like clear communication and empathy, which helps you to connect with diverse audience, be it students, be it adults. So I would like all teachers to be compassionate. And I want the students also to be, empathetic towards the teachers, because it's not an easy job to, teach and imbibe values. So it's a noble profession. So I would say, from both ends, there should be equal respect.
I agree.
Yeah.
As someone who's been in the teaching space earlier, how would you describe the life of a teacher? What are some of the key moments that really stuck with you during your time as an educator?
Yeah, so I have been an educator for more than 5 years with GEMS Education. So I was as a facilitator there and communication manager. So I dealt with, students of all age groups, primarily from middle school to, higher ups. And the thing which stood out was like all students are different and they come with their different stories, different background. And UAE being, a country who has a lot of expats from different nationalities. So it's a bit difficult to build a bond with the students. But if you get to know them and make the learning fun, then, you also learn each day, because every student comes with their own story. And when you are imbibing values, you are also learning so much from them, to not to take life so seriously. One, and to enjoy, the process of learning. And so I really enjoyed being a teacher. And, because I was into communication, so there were school magazines. So reading a lot of poetry, a lot of, stories from children, and then contributing as well. It was a very creative and, mind-boggling time for me, because certain times you get surprised, pleasantly surprised, I would say, and certain times you enjoy, just the whole process of creativity coming from students. And I was amazed with the caliber of students here. Like, they're super intelligent. Like, when we were at their age, we were not that super smart and creative, which nowadays students are. So that was something, the whole process I enjoyed, and my learning was, being compassionate, being empathetic, because you never know the child is coming from which background and what baggage the child is, carrying. So you don't need to compare the children in terms of their grades, but, celebrate each child with what they are good at and build on that. So that was my learning.
I think that's a very holistic experience.
Yeah.
You really did describe pretty much the day-to-day of every teacher, and also just the emotions of being an educator.
Yeah.
You mentioned making learning fun. I think this is something that a lot of teachers constantly battle, because there is the curriculum on one side, and then there is different attention spans and different personalities in a classroom. How do you make sure that you're making learning fun, but there is actual learning that's happening in a classroom?
So, my journey has not been easy. I would say my journey has been full of evolution, resilience, and, the unyielding passion for storytelling to empower others. So I didn't start as an educator, I was a banker. So my story started in the finance world, because banking is all about, numbers, money. But, my heart lied in, the storytelling. And I enjoyed the creative and communication sector more. So I realized, that I am not enjoying my job, though it was very lucrative. So I switched to the educational sector by choice. And then, it was like, because I had that corporate learning also, where, you have strategies, you have time management, you have risk management, all those qualities come, which I tried to bring it into my educational, sphere also, in terms of, managing time with students and, making the classes crisp and enjoyable. When you say learning is fun, then you have to devise new ways, innovative ways, because children are too smart. If you just, go with the curriculum and all, they get bored and they get spaced out. So I didn't wanted that, because in my growing up years also, I was a very good student. I was a scholar, but at the same time, I didn't enjoy that much. It was just scoring the grades.
Right.
So I didn't want it to make the same mistake of, getting all that again and making the students strive for grades. So I told them grades will come naturally. You just have to, recognize which subjects you enjoy. And I used to take a lot of feedback from them, that how do you want me to go with the lesson? Of course, I'll, finish the curriculum. But if you want some games, we can play on Mentimeter or other apps, which can make, the lesson enjoyable. So last 10 minutes of my lesson, I used to make sure I play a new game, or, it could be a puzzle, it could be an online, game, which children used to enjoy. So they used to look forward to that, 10 minutes of the whole lecture.
Right.
And because of that 10 minutes, they used to concentrate on the other 30 minutes of the curriculum, because they were like, we will get to enjoy that 10 minutes of, playing. So learning was done, but in a playful manner, in an innovative manner, which they also enjoyed and I also enjoyed. Yeah.
I think methods like the Mentimeter that you mentioned and other just multimedia tools, I think that those are something that have really propped up with distance learning.
Right.
Because when everybody was, at home behind screens during the pandemic, I think it was a huge responsibility for teachers to start becoming innovative, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And I think, yes, it is a real task and a real social responsibility, because you not only have the task of having to educate the future generation, but you're also spending a certain period of time with them, right?
True.
So you actually do shape the kind of people that they become.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious, are there any stories from your schooling days that have, stuck with you and you probably used in your profession as a teacher when you were in communication with your students every day? Something from when you were younger, perhaps?
So when I was young, I used to have certain favorite teachers, and it was not because of the subject they taught, but the kind of person they were.
Right.
Like they used to ask after holiday, how was your holiday? How are your parents doing? What is happening at home? What new skill you learned during your holidays? So all that feedback or all that talk was very encouraging to me. And similarly, I tried to imbibe that in my students also. Here I, whenever session gets completed, a new session begins, or after holidays, when the kids are back, I used to, start with that. Like, how was your holiday? Which all cities you visited? And being a blogger, storyteller, and being an author, like I have 5 books released. So I used to enjoy hearing so many stories and telling them my stories as well, because I used to travel extensively. One of my book is like 13 countries in 13 years. So the children used to enjoy listening to where I have traveled, what memento I got from there. And like I used to get some, if I went to Switzerland, I used to get some chocolates or mementos for kids. They used to enjoy. And certain times they visited somewhere and they used to get me the pictures. And so that used to build up, because, I've been a social science student. So, with children, if you say social studies, it's very boring subject. When you align it with, these methods, like which state you visited, what were its good points, what is its currency, what is it famous for, then children develop that interest, and then they like to discuss, and then you can, align that with the course material as well. So that was something I enjoyed and imbibed from my school days. And I tried to be the best teacher also, so that, I have that special bond with kids. And when I used to hear that teacher appreciation, notes from their mothers or the emails they used to send me, like a child was very shy, and then their sibling was being, born. So that child came in a loop and was not opening up. So, the mother was very concerned that the child is always sad and everything. Then I took it up as a challenge and I encouraged the child to open up. In the break time, we used to draw something and, encourage the child to open up. And then the child was like, she did so wonderfully well that she crossed the grades and did well in dance also, inter-school competition also. And her mother sent photographs and videos that how she's outshining from a very introvert child. Now she is, gaining so much momentum. So that made me feel very good that I could make a difference, in the life of the child. So yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you're an author and an author of 5 books and I believe about 50 anthologies, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So that's quite an extensive, it's quite an extensive body of work that you have behind you.
Right.
How does a teacher, previous banker, now entrepreneur actually make time to pursue such a ambitious goal of being published and being published consistently? Because I bet that's not easy.
Yeah, and I've won a lot of awards as well. The Best Writer Award, Best Blogger Award, Most Motivational Woman Award. There have been a line of awards. It's not been easy because it's not been just a transition from industries, but transition from countries also.
Right.
Like I was in India, then I was in US, then UK, then finally Dubai. So I have lived in many countries, and so the transition wasn't easy being an expat woman. And I have 3 kids of my own.
Right.
So being a mom is a full-time job in itself. So the journey from, I would say Delhi to Dubai, or from banker to blogger, or from author to authorpreneur wasn't easy. It had its own challenges. But with my persistent and resilient nature, I could, fulfill my passion. It was like pandemic was a boon. It was a blessing in disguise for me because until then I was fully engrossed in the corporate world.
Right.
And pandemic gave me that time to pursue my passion. It's just that a writing contest came up in College Times. And because I was chief editor in my college in St. Xavier's in Mumbai. So I had that writing, passion. So it gave me that opportunity. So I participated in it to see where, I stand now.
Right.
Because it's been years of corporate world, educational sector. So I had forgotten my love of writing. And then I won that contest. It was from 500 entries I was chosen, and they published my article. So that gave me the much needed motivation and encouragement. And I thought, why not pursue it as a full-time profession? Why not become an author, release the books? But it wasn't easy because I had no knowledge in the publishing world. I was so long into the banking and educational sector, and then later on media sector. I was journalist. So I was not aware about the journey, but then, with resilience, with researching, putting down my, work into writing, spending so many hours, at home, and pandemic gave me that time, honestly. So I utilized it, upgraded my skills, wrote the book, and then once the first book was out, which was Living Life on My Own Terms, which is the philosophy I resonate with, so then it became easy because once you know the process and the hurdles you go through, then the subsequent works come easily. Then I was able to write 5 books, be a contributing writer in 50 plus anthologies. So yeah, the initial teething problems were there, but then once, I decided I have to do this and I have to, follow my passion, and more than that, inspire women. Because by writing, I was like empowering women, because I was getting so many emails that being a mother of 3 and being an expat woman, if you can do it, so can we. Can you guide us through the process? And we also have so many written work and we want to compile what is the process of writing the book, finding the right publisher. So I was very happy that I gave that kind of encouragement to women, and I inspired them with my writing, that they were able to do wonders. They also became writers in the process. So that was
You mentioned that you would like to be an inspiration to women.
Right.
And is there one woman that's been an inspiration in your life? Someone who's been a pillar of support, someone who's been a role model for you to always look up to, and kind of as a solace when, things probably don't necessarily go your way, or someone you can celebrate your highs with?
So there have been many women, Arundhati Roy, Oprah Winfrey, and Sudha Murthy. But I have been mostly inspired by Sudha Murthy because she's an author herself. She had a successful husband, Narayan Murthy. Infosys was a built-in empire for her, but she took a different route.
Yeah.
She is, uplifting other women. She's doing a lot of philanthropy work, which I also do. And I am global, sustainability ambassador also. So I recognized, what she was saying resonated with my own life. And I, had that kind of inspiring figure in her, because she had everything for her. She didn't need to work.
Right.
She had an empire build up. Everything was there. She was famous. She could have just settled in her cozy life and be it. But she is inspiring so many women. She's writing books. She's doing philanthropy work. She is, now I've listened to her more than Narayan Murthy, who is, stalwart in entrepreneurship. So she has come to terms on herself, on her own, and I want to be in those lines. I want to be an author. I want to do charitable and philanthropic work. I want my family to be proud of me, and I want to inspire other women, because I want to leave a legacy behind. I just don't want, I came, I lived, I went off. The life is not that much, If I've got this lifetime, then I have to leave a legacy for my own family, for the society at large, so that, even after I'm gone, people read my work, they get inspired by my unique story, and somewhere I can touch to, even if 1% of what Sudha Murthy ji achieved, then I think my mission is fulfilled.
I think that's really inspiring, and I think it was very appropriate that you cited authors.
Yeah.
It's very fitting.
Yeah.
And all very good authors who weave very personal stories that resonate with millions of us across the globe.
Right.
So to bring our conversation to a close, Sonal, I think you kind of preempted my question, but I'm going to ask you nonetheless. At TCDD, we ask all of our guests whether they are thinkers, creators, doers, or deciders. So which one would you be?
I would say creator and doer, because that is something in my hand. Deciding factors could be many, but in my hand, it's viable to be creator and doer, and be in the journey of inspiring others, educating others, empowering others, and rest, the universe and the destiny will take care of. So yeah, I would say creator and doer.
I think that's a very fitting choice.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure speaking to you and learning about your journey and what it means to be a woman that wears multiple hats and succeeds at it at her own pace. I think that's a very inspiring story and something that all of our audiences will resonate with, whether they're men, women, or children.
True.
Thank you so much for being with us here today.
Let's keep learning and keep growing.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you.